Hello ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? I am Darnock with TGN, bringing you yet another StarCraft 2 1 vs 1 cast. Today we are going to be casting a best of 5 from the IEM World Championships. There it is. I don't know, my brain just decided to completely fart out during the last syllable of that word. But it is the IEM World Championships. IEM, of course, standing for Intel Extreme Masters, which is a great yearly, not like once a year, but year-long esports kind of league. Not really. There are a bunch of stops, a bunch of smaller tournaments along the way that lead into the World Championships, and they are more self-contained, though. Different players frequently, stuff like that, and this is going to be really good. I think we're going to have a really good series here. We have two very, very good players, and they're kind of mirror images of each other. Not really mirror images, they're yin and yang, let's put it like that. So over on the yin side, in the lower left of Shakura's Plateau, we have the red player Slayers MMA, who is of course playing Terran, and a lot of you I'm sure recognize the name. He is arguably the best Terran player in the world right now. Of course, that title used to go purely to MVP, easy peasy. Nobody would argue at all if you said MVP was the best Terran player in the world. However, MMA has recently been challenging him, has been beating him, has been winning tournaments left and right, and is really, really good. He's, of course, a GSL Code S champion, which is the most prestigious tournament you can win. I think he's won an MLG. I'm pretty sure he's won an MLG tournament, so he is a sick player, and it's been established for a while now. He was an up-and-comer, like, maybe this time a year ago in the GOM TV Team League, but since then he has been one of the best Terran players for a long time. His opponent is on the complete opposite of that. He's the Yang, of course, in our little yin-yang spiral here. That's going to be the blue Protoss player in the lower right of Shakura's Plateau, and he is Millennium Feast, and he is just now starting to pull some eyes, especially over at IEM, the two casters there, Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam, who are infinitely better than I. If you do not recognize those names, definitely go check them out, watch some of their stuff. They are very good at what they do, and Feast has really been impressing them lately, and he's been impressing everybody. He's not a big name, he's not an MMA, he's not a Huck, he's not an OGS MC or SKMC as he actually is right now, but he's been beating these players, not consistently. He hasn't won any huge tournaments, but he's gotten a lot farther in tournaments these days, much farther than most people would estimate. They'd say, okay, he's going to go out in the first group stage or maybe the first round of the playoff bracket. And he sticks around for a long time, and look at him now. This is the third place match for the IEM World Championships. I'm actually not sure if I said that yet or not. I waited a long time to drop that piece of information on you guys. But this is the third place match of the IEM World Championships, and he's here ready to go toe-to-toe with Slayers MMA. So we have our Korean Terran versus, I actually don't know what nationality Feast is. He is European, I know that much. I want to say French. I don't know why I want to say French, though. That's probably way off, and Feast would punch me if he heard me call him a Frenchman, but I think that's what he is. So that's what we're going to go with. And with that out of the way, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this game. So in Feast space, we do see he has gone for that typical one gateway fast expand, which can be a little bit risky if you don't know exactly what your opponent is doing. However, he knows what's going on with MMA. He saw MMA take his barracks, get his orbital command up, and not take any gases very early on. So he knows MMA has gone for that one barracks gasless fast expansion, in which you see the command center is morphing into the orbital command right over here in the top left of the base. So both players definitely pulling for a nice long game here. Neither of them very cheesy, getting very aggressive. But just as a side note, as something to keep in mind for further games, MMA is not a cheesy player, but he is definitely well known for mixing in a very well designed and very well timed cheese here and there from time to time, just to throw his opponent off and get a free win in a longer series. He's not cheesy, he's not bad at macro or anything like that. He's incredible at macro. He's such a good player. He's the whole package. And oh no, Feast! Oh no, Feast! He took a lot of damage on that Stalker, a lot of damage on that Zealot as well, and he's not going to lose anything quite yet, but you really don't want want that to happen so early on in the game. The idea is you only lose the shields on these first few units, and then you run away. They're still at full health, and their shields regenerate, and then you're happy, and you can just go into the mid-game like you normally would. However, now he has taken a lot of damage between this Stalker and this Zealot, so that's not the best for him. Obviously not a big deal, just losing some health on a couple of his units, but could be much, much better. Now, MMA, he is really nervous right now. Why is he so nervous? He's building a third barracks, and I'm not quite sure why he's doing that. Ah, I see. He has seen 3 gateways are up here for Feast, and has he seen how many gases Feast has? If he has, that would surprise me, but no. Okay, so all MMA has seen, and no, he hasn't even seen these 3 gateways. He hasn't done much scouting at all, and that's why he's a little bit nervous. He hasn't done any scouting, he hasn't done any scans, he spent all of that energy onto the mules, and he's worried about some sort of all-in, some sort of big gateway timing push that could kill a build like this. Now, of course, we know that Feast isn't doing anything of the sort. He's teching rather hard right now, in fact. Robotics Facility just went up a few seconds ago, and now he's already about to finish his Twilight Council as well. So Feast obviously not going to be getting super aggressive, but MMA playing things nice and safely, and of course, since he's playing Terran, he can always salvage these bunkers for 75% of what they cost. So it's really not that huge of an investment just to wall off that entire top of the ramp with those bunkers. Now, MMA has gone into a fairly standard unit composition right now. He has finally gotten this tech lab up, so the Marauders are going to start hitting the field, starting with this one right now. There it is, trundling down that ramp. Stim pack almost finished here. On top of that, he of course has the starport, which is about to finish its first 2 medevacs, and he is taking a third base, and he's actually pretty ballsy about this. He's building the third base over here on the actual third base, not in his natural or anything like that, or his main. So that tells me he is planning on moving out here pretty soon, and that is what he is doing. He is going to be taking map control to protect this exposed third base right here, which is exactly what he needs to do, precisely the move that he should make right now, because Feast is pretty weak right now. Feast isn't going to be able to do all that much on the map until all the tech he has gone for really starts getting on the field, until this blink finishes, until he starts maybe getting some Immortals, possibly a Colossus out of that robotics facility. It looks as if he's just going to be going heavy gateway style, which normally is fine, but you really can't make that work against a Terran who has 1 additional base on you. So I'm not sure I really like what Feast is doing. If you really want to go for that heavy pure gateway style build, pure gateway unit composition, you really need to pretend you're a Zerg player, and you need to say, okay, I'm just gonna get an additional base over my opponent, and then even though I don't have the most cost-efficient units in the world, it's okay because I can just reproduce them so quickly. And looks like Slayer's MMA may get caught out of position here. He should actually drop into the main. That's the move right here, and he is going to do that. A few of the Marines are going to give their lives, but oh no, the medevac is blinked upon. Feast has finished that upgrade, and MMA is going to get away. Oh, there's another big drop going on over here in the natural base as well, and he picks up, almost losing not a single thing. Looks like 1 Marine may have fallen. Was he able to kill any workers? He did get 9 workers, so that's pretty nice, and that medevac just flies away into the corner and will now be a constant thorn in Millennium Feast's side, which is always super annoying. Now, looks as if Feast is getting ready to blink into the main base of MMA, ready to put on some counter-harassment of his own. MMA does have enough units over here. He just needs to get them in the correct position to deal with these Stalkers, and MMA a little bit slow to react, does lose a few SCVs, but he's going to kill a lot of Stalkers. Looks like he got 2 or 3 of those Blink Stalkers before Blink did come off of cooldown. Ooh, and he just barely gets the Observer out of the deal as well, which is pretty sweet in all honesty. Killing that Observer feels really good, because it means that they are going to have no idea what's going on for a while, and if they want to rebuild that Observer, it's going to use a valuable robotics facility time where they would really rather be building Immortals, be building Colossi, and things of that nature. Now it looks as if Feast did have a spare Observer out on the field already, so he's going to be able to blink back up with those 5 Stalkers, going to kill more and more SCVs, but MMA in a good position to defend against this, gets the Observer, and gets not every single Stalker, 1 lone Stalker is going to make it out of there alive. He's going to have some emotional issues to deal with at the end of this war for certain. But on the other hand, so is Feast. Feast really not looking too great. It looks like he's going to be planning on going for some sort of 2-base huge timing attack. I actually just watched a game that played out kind of similar to this in the GSL up and down matches. It was Killer as the Protoss player versus Lucky, was it? Was it Lucky? I don't know. But basically what he did, I thought it was a Terran player, but maybe it was a Zerg. Regardless, the build is similar in that you just stay on 2 bases for a long time, get up a really strong 2-base army, and then go forward and try to win the game right there. The problem is, okay, so the problem is twofold. A, if you don't win with that attack off of the 2 bases, you're probably going to lose. B, Slayers MMA has had this 3rd base up for such a long time. I mean, look at this. The mineral fields are actually... Okay, so some of them are pretty low. Not pretty low, but have been mined quite heavily off of. Some of them are still very high because no mules have been called down on them. And, of course, mules are mineral patch slayers. But anyways, MMA has had that extra source of income for quite a while now. And Feast hasn't done this build quite as efficiently and just pure strongly, hasn't cut as many corners that he could have as Killer did in the game I watched him play. So I'm not sure this is going to work out too well for Feast. Now, he does have his 1/1 upgrades out on the field right now. What is MMA rocking? Let's select this cool-looking Ghost. He has +1/+1 as well. +2 armor, just about to finish. Literally a second away, and there, now it does land. +2 armor has just been started, but it's going to take a long time to get down here. And he does have Ghosts. He does have Ghosts on the field, so he does have EMPs ready. And it looks as if now, with those Ghosts on the field in play, he feels good about pushing out across the map, and he's going to see if he can deal any damage to the army of Millennium Feast. Now, Feast is still on this almost completely robotics facility-less army. He does have a single immortal, but the rest of this is all Stalkers and all Zealots. So it's all going to come down to the EMPs here from MMA, and I don't know where Feast's High Templar are. He does have a few of those out on the field. If we take a look at the units composition tab, we do see he has 6 High Templar. And, oh, here's one coming. Is it going to get his storm down? No, it does get sniped by the Ghosts. The Ghosts are out of position. Huge blink, actually, from Feast. Does take down many of those Ghosts, but, oh, the EMPs were just too good for Slayers MMA. A storm does go down, but MMA already has done all the damage he needs to. Look at that supply difference, 176 to 115 from Millennium Feast. He just was quite simply not prepared for this eventual attack from MMA. And things are looking quite bad for our European Protoss player. This should be the final engagement. The Zealots getting slain, shot in the back as they do flee away. Not really a huge storm, a completely whiffed storm actually went down, or at least it was whiffed until MMA ran some of his units into it. A little bit of a courtesy for Feast. Doesn't want him to feel too bad about losing this first game, I suppose, but I'm not sure that's going to be much of a consolation as Feast is about to GG, you can be sure. And there it is. Ooh, look at me. I'm so good at predicting this, apparently. And that's it for Game 1, folks. Slayers MMA does take the early lead, 1-0. Will Feast be able to come back in Game number 2?